Hey everybody, this is Jewelyn. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a very fun planting with Jewelyn. In today's very special Mother's Day edition, because it's currently Mother's Day today, but by the time you see this, it may be 2 to 3 weeks from now, but it's okay. I still want to be able to share my beautiful blooms on the channel. And stay tuned because I am doing another Meet My Plant episode featuring my epiphyllum. Last year I did it when it first bloomed for me, and I gave you the whole life cycle of what the plant looks like from the first bloom to the last, because they do stay around for maybe a day and a half to max 2 days. These are on the second full day, and probably by tomorrow they are no longer going to be with me. I have one more back here that is about to open up right here, and the rest of the epiphyllum has so many cute blooms. I'm looking forward to trying my best to preserve a handful. So in today's video I wanted to do something special. I'm literally just sitting down really casual on my yoga mat in my patio, and now that the patio is more controlled and clear as far as for the tree above me, this is my first day experiencing the patio with more light and air, and I could not think of a better way to do my first video in the patio than trying to preserve my beautiful epiphyllum blooms on Mother's Day. And I always like to acknowledge any type of celebration or special occasion, special day, and I like to celebrate it with something plant related and to spread plant love and plant life. If you watch my channel, you know that my plant collection and my plant life is nothing in ground, so I don't do anything in ground. That's a whole different kind of plant life which I can enjoy and appreciate as well from other people's collection. Everything I own are all in planters, and I still make it work for being in the heart of Santa Monica City, and to be able to document different things from houseplants, cacti, and succulents. But what I don't have coming through the collection a lot are plants that give me blooms. So maybe my tradescantias and my hoyas and my epiphyllums will bloom for me, but that is it. As far as for bloom wise, this is my most precious blooms. Of course I love my Hoya blooms, and my Bella will be blooming soon, and I'm gonna be trying to do this method for my Hoya blooms as well. But this is my most precious blooms in my collection, and it always arrives the week of Mother's Day, and they do not last for long. You guys already know I love experimenting and trying different things on the channel. So in today's video I wanted to try my first time drying my blooms with silica gel. I think it might be fun to maybe one day get into that, but that is like a whole nother avenue of plant life and with flower life, and I just don't have a lot of flowers coming through. I probably could definitely preserve different types of maybe leaves that are coming from the collection, that maybe if they fall off I could preserve it and do something cool with resin. But resin and like resin life and that whole part of preserving flowers and leaves are just a whole different avenue and a whole different channel, and I don't want to get too crazy and involved in a whole separate avenue of preserving flowers, because this hobby is very expensive and it takes time to practice and get the art and craft down pat. So I figured why not, let's just start easy and do my epiphyllum blooms. So if you're interested in this particular product, this is from Activa. This is their silica gel, and this is going to be up in my Amazon store. So if you're interested in trying to preserve your own blooms in your collection, then go ahead and find my Amazon store. Link is in my description box. Other things you will need is some kind of container, and because I've been in my closet, well, not the last week or two, because I've been focusing on doing special videos for my vlog channel. Beginning part of the lockdown, I was hanging out in my closet a lot, organizing and decluttering, and I have these shoe containers from the Container Store, and I have a bunch of them, and I think this is going to be the perfect container for me to put the bloom in to dry, because as you can see, the bloom itself is really big, and it's like as big as you see the size of my hand. So this is like the perfect container. So that's pretty much all you need. Now as far as for the silica gel, while I take it out and talk about it, the silica gel is reusable. The silica gel does get a lot of use. You can go ahead, from my understanding, you can throw it in the oven or microwave it, and then it'll be all dried out and you can use it again and just store it in a sealed tight container, and you can keep reusing the product. Now something like this I think costs around $30 something, so it is not cheap. But I heard on the internet that you can use cat litter as well, and it's like cheaper, but I rather go with this method, and hopefully I have enough product to dry my blooms. Now as far as for the time that the blooms need to be in this product to dry out varies. It can be anywhere from 2 to 6 to 7 days depending on the type of bloom. So I think I'm going to just check every day, and I hate to over dry it. So this is just the instructions, and I believe it'll tell you the type of flower here and the dry time, but I don't think, oh, okay. So maybe in the future I'll dry other things, because they say like ferns here is 2 days to dry, but I don't see epiphyllums on here. Of course, it's a very unique flower. You don't see these like in an arrangement, which by the way, shout out to Sonia, my plant friend, subscriber, client. She gave me a bouquet of fresh flowers and some plant babies for Mother's Day. So if you haven't watched that video, go ahead and check it out. It's probably gonna be the video prior to this one, and I'm gonna try to preserve the blooms, but after I do these ones, because these are time sensitive. Kind of nervous, and I'm gonna try my best to just hold on to the ends here and just kind of wiggle it so that I don't ruin the plant or the bloom. I don't know, I have to figure it out because I've never had to take the blooms off. I just kind of let it do its thing. Kind of nervous and excited because I actually wanted to do this for the blooms last year when it first bloomed on me, but I was nervous and I totally failed and didn't do anything, and I said, not this time, Jewelyn. You're not gonna fail now on trying to preserve it. So here goes nothing. I'm just gonna do a small section, and I feel like I might waste more product lying them down here. I feel like maybe if I have it in the corner here, I can have it propped up here. I don't know. If I pour the whole thing in here, I might waste more product, and I only have this one bag. What the product looks like. Let's bring the epiphyllum out. Very gentle with trying to take off the blooms here. Please just pop off. Perfect. Oh my goodness, take a look at this. Abby, isn't it so precious? Come, you want to say hi to the channel? Here's Abby. Hang out with mommy. Just got her procedure done the other day. So here's one. Oh, let's go in on this one, please. Come off easy. Perfect. Oh my gosh, look at how pretty this is. Curious, and I poured a little bit out before I picked the blooms. So here they are, side by side, and I hope, I'm trying to figure out the best way to preserve it, because ideally I would love to have it cornered here, but the stems are so long. If not, I could just lay them like this. So unfortunately, I think I might have to do this so that the stem stays up. So maybe something like this. And then slowly pour without ruining the blooms. Trying to figure out if this is the best way to do it, because if I lie it down this way, it might be hard because of the long stem, you know what I mean? Like if it wasn't such a long stem, I could just lay it down on the back of the bloom and it would be okay. Looks good already. To be determined. determined. I may just do it the original way and have it. Oh, okay, this is giving me an idea, guys. Maybe I'm gonna do the same thing here, angled on this side, and then from there cover the top, I'm thinking. Okay, so do that. To make sure I have enough product to cover the bloom completely. Looking good. Please have enough. If not, I'm gonna have to strategize how to preserve it without ruining the blooms. This is my first time, so if I need to, I'll take it out and redo it again, just so that I get it done right. So now that I see that, I want to maybe get it a little bit more deeper under so that it's fully covered. Let's do this. By doing that, made it sink in deeper. And please don't clock me in the comments because I am not a professional or avid flower dryer. This is my first time and I'm just working with what I have. I didn't want to go out, especially now, to go buy a container, and I have so many of these empty containers. And I thought it'd be like the perfect depth for this bloom because of the long stems, and it's so huge. It's like comparable to like the size of a lily. The only way would be for me to cut the stem off, but I'm trying to not do that. That's the best I can do for it. Here it is. I had to think about it, the best way to do it. And obviously I didn't want to lay it down this way to dry. So this is my first time. I will check on this tomorrow. I'm gonna give it a day because I don't think it's gonna need 3 days because it's such a thin bloom. So I am going to check on it tomorrow and I will hop on here to do part 2 of the video. And if this is a flop because I literally laid it down this way when I wanted it to lay up this way, the next time I have a full bloom, which would probably be this one, what I'm gonna do is, which I hate to do because the bloom might just fall apart, is I might just cut here and forget about the long stem here. But I feel like if I did that, the bloom would fall apart. So again, this is trial and error. I have so many blooms to practice with. Something like a daisy or something, or a sunflower, where you can just cut it right under the head and lay it flat and then no problem. And again, they're very like leggy, the petals. So this is a trial and error. I have it sealed tight, and I have my leftovers here. And actually, if I wanted to, I could also have other things drying in here as well, but I want to focus on this particular bloom, and I can always go ahead and dry some of my flowers from my Mother's Day bouquet. But I hope you guys enjoyed part 1, and again, this is my first time doing it, and I wanted to share this on the channel. And it's just fun for me to do little things like this that are a little bit different avenues off of plant life to keep you inspired. And I'm a creative type. I love doing things like this. I love arts and crafts, and I've always wanted to preserve my epiphyllum. So stay tuned. We'll see. I'll pick up the video tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna look like this, but I definitely will go ahead and share the point of view of the dry blooms. And let's see, I hope it doesn't fall apart, and I hope, I feel sad that it's like this. I would love to lay it down so that I could dry it open like this. So next time I'm gonna do trial and error, and I'll cut the stem here and then try to get the bloom to just lay like this. So see you guys tomorrow. Okay, status update. It's been maybe just a few hours, and it was stressing me out thinking that it was laying down flat. So what I did was I took it out, and it's becoming really soft now. So I was able to now lay it on its back, and I'm just using different tools here to kind of get it in place, laying flat as much as possible without ruining the blooms. And then from here, I'm gonna lightly sprinkle on top of it. But take a look at it, what it looks like right now. I mean, if this is the way how it's gonna look like dry, then it is what it is. I have a carnation there. It fell off from the bouquet, from my Mother's Day bouquet from Sonia. Just going to lightly cover it up. This. And now I'm much more satisfied knowing that I have it on its back. And then I'll let it stay overnight like this. So I just wanted to hop on here and share with you what I decided to do. Now that it's softened up a little bit, I was able to get it on its back. So for now, this is what it's gonna look like. Let's do a little bit more. And then I'll look at it tomorrow. Okay. Good enough for now. So, progress shot, and we'll pick it up tomorrow. It is the next day, and I feel like it might be good to come out already. Last night before I went to bed, I brushed off the silica gel on the top, so if you can see there, to expose the bloom because the petals are dried. It's just the last section right here, this thick part, that is taking some time to dry. And I also wanted to share with you the third bloom, which is right here. It just opened up. Let it do its thing and live life for the day. But tomorrow I will probably pick it and preserve it because these blooms will die. And it only lasts max 2 days. So like a day and a half, it just starts wilting in it, and that's it. So I want to catch it. I'm in love with this plant, and this is the most special blooms I have besides my Hoya compacta blooms. And in fact, when the Hoya Bella starts blooming, I'm going to try to also preserve it in here. So with that being said, I want to pull it out to see how this bottom section of the bloom is looking like. And please don't clock me in the comments for yesterday. I have my mask. I also have my little tools. So I just have a makeup brush I never use, my fan brush, a tweezer, and what I use for doing crafting with my rhinestones with E6 dolls. Here's the tools I'm using, and then my mask. So shout out to my grandma. I'm gonna open up the container and slowly pull it out. I'll change the point of view. Here goes nothing. So here is what it's currently looking like. Super pretty. And I'm gonna slowly pull it up without hopefully breaking it. nervous. Okay, it looks pretty dry. Hi, honey. Okay, so now that I see the status, as you see here, so here's the status of the stem, and it still needs a little drying. So, but the bloom itself, take a look at it. Look at how pretty. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now that I know what it looks like, I'm gonna stick the stem back in without damaging the bloom. And maybe tomorrow I can pull it out completely. So let's do that. Fix it here. So pretty. Oh my gosh. Super cool, right? A little bit more drying, but the bloom itself is looking great. And I'm sorry about these few pieces, but we'll just pull it out like that. I'll still keep it. Let's go ahead and get you. Okay. I think that's gonna be good. Okay, so the stem of the bloom needs to be dried a little bit more, but the bloom itself is good. So just the back part of the bloom. So I took my mask off so you can hear me and my thoughts for my first day looking at the blooms and my first time doing this silica gel drying process. I'm really happy and it looks so pretty dried up. I was trying to think like what it was going to look like, but it's so pretty and the colors are still vibrant. So stay tuned. Tomorrow I'll hop back on the channel to film part 3 where I take the blooms out. I have to figure out how I'm going to showcase it. I would love to have this in resin and have some kind of resin piece to preserve this, but that's like a whole nother avenue of DIY and crafting. But tomorrow I'll hop on this channel to film part 3, taking the blooms out. By then the bottom part should be hopefully preserved and dried, and then we'll take this bloom off and then do the whole process all over again. And I can't wait to see a bunch of dried blooms. It's gonna look so pretty. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. I'm having fun. Wake up tomorrow, day 3 of my DIY silica gel drying my flower process. Here's the status of the blooms. As you can see, this is the 3rd bloom, 4th and 5th bloom. These opened up yesterday or overnight, so these are gonna live for another day. I'll do these probably tomorrow or the next day I'll take them, but this is the one that I would like to take from next, this one right here. It's fun to show my little project on the live. So here's the status of the blooms. I pulled it out yesterday to expose it because the petals are fully dried. I just need to work with the bottom part to make sure it's fully dried, and then we can move on to our next bloom. It's very careful to take it out. So this is what it looks like, fully dried. Let me just place it on the cover here. Still trying to figure out the best way for me to display it. So if you look at the behind of the bloom, it is dried. So pretty, and I think I did pretty good for the first 2 blooms. Let me just take out these petals here. Now, let me put my mask on because I'm gonna start moving the silica gel and I don't want to breathe it in. So I'm gonna put my mask on. This is such a fun process to go through. Alright, so the mask is on. I'm gonna be moving the silica gel around and I don't wanna create it in. Hi honey, you helping mommy? Okay, here goes nothing. Wow, look at how pretty that is. So pretty. It's so perfect. Oh my gosh, look at that. So cool. No babe. Okay, so we're just gonna do it like this. Ooh, I think I kind of like how I'm doing this one. And I have more silica gel too. I should get that. My fan brush is doing work with this bloom. We got more silica gel. Let me put my mask back on. Because when I start pouring this, I don't want to breathe it in. Hope you guys are enjoying this video. I know I'm having fun because this is something new for me. And these blooms are so special. I think I might store. I want it to be able to keep its open shape as much as possible. To get it lower. Kind of difficult because of the size of the bloom and the shape of the bloom. Okay, going all in. I think this is good, guys. What do you think? I'm just gonna have to store it like this. So for now, I think I like this a lot. Give this video a thumbs up for my amateur technique. It's my first time doing it. So we'll just leave it like this because later on today or tomorrow when this softens up and starts drying, then I can flip it on its back. But for now, I'm just gonna have to do it like this, and I'm gonna find something where the bloom can lay angled, just like this. Okay, so this is what it looks like. As you see, it's on an angle, and I'm gonna keep this in this position and then I'll turn it on its back in a couple of hours. But I think I did pretty good for being a first timer. Here are the blooms all dried up and pretty, so stay tuned and I'll pick up the video when it's time to move the bloom on its back. Here we are. It is the next day and I would like to shift over my bloom to go on its back. And this is the status of my epiphyllum hybrid. So this is bloom number 4 and 5 and they've been with me for a day and a half, so I'm gonna pick them. And these opened up overnight. 4, 5. So this is 6 and 7 right here. Look at how stunning that is. Isn't that gorgeous? So these will stay overnight and I will probably pick them tomorrow. So what I want to do is pick these two. I'm gonna put my mask on because I don't want to breathe in the silica gel, and I'm not gonna touch it. I'm gonna use my tools to move it around. So let's see what the status of the bloom is. This is really exciting for me. Okay. Shout out to my grandma for my mask. Okay, so here's the status of the bloom. Let's go ahead and take it out. And I'll flip it on its back. But what I'm gonna do is, oh, look at that. So this is gonna go on its back, but after I put these two in. So let me just put it on the cover so it doesn't get damaged. And then let's pick these two. I'm gonna have to figure out the same concept. So here's one. So gorgeous, so gorgeous. But if I don't pick it now, it'll die. So without ruining the plant, here we go. So here are the two beautiful blooms right here. Look at how stunning that is. I want it like this to start. Something along the lines of this. Just kind of slowly work my way to cover the blooms, and being careful to not touch the silica. And I'll flip it over on its back tomorrow. So far, so good, I think. Just gonna slowly get it deeper and deeper under the silica. Just for the next couple of hours, it'll stay like this, and then I'll turn it on its back once it gets a little bit more dry. Do this for now because the tail of the bloom is the thickest and it takes the longest to dry. So say for instance, you see this section right here, I'm just gonna stick it back into the silica and do that. So this is what it's gonna look like for now. And in a couple of hours, I'll check on the tail end of the bloom for this one, and these should be soft enough for me to flip on the back and then cover these petals. But for now, I think this is good enough. So here's the status of the blooms, and this is the bloom that I worked with yesterday. So let's just move this on the side. I'm gonna just basically shake it like this, and then with my fan brush open it up a little bit more, like so. I'm just gonna slowly cover the bloom. This is so exciting. Still trying to think if I'm gonna try my hand on resin. I just hate to do my first resin project with these blooms. I might practice with my bouquet that I got for Mother's Day first. Let's do that. Pretty dry. The end of the bloom that needs to dry, so I'm just gonna stick it in and keep the top of the bloom exposed. Let me just do that, and that's good enough for me. The third bloom, fourth and fifth bloom, I'm going to close the container and then I'll open it up tomorrow morning. Good morning. It is the next day and I'm really excited to be able to wake up every day and do this process for my hybrid epiphyllum blooms. So I have my first and second bloom already dried in here and waiting for its next project, which I'm super excited about. I'm gonna do a whole separate video for my plants for the dry blooms. And then in here, on this top section here, this bloom is the third bloom, and then I have the fourth and fifth bloom that is covered in silica. And I'm gonna take the third bloom out, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick, I'm like losing track how many blooms I have. Okay, so then I'm gonna pick the sixth and seventh bloom. There's one more bloom, and I'll turn my epiphyllum around so you can see without having it fall on me. So here is the newest bloom that opened up, I believe overnight last night. So 6, 7, 8. So far that is the 8th bloom. I can't believe it. 3, 4, 5. Yep. So this is number 8 bloom that happened overnight. So I look forward to preserving that one in the upcoming day. But for now, what I'm gonna do is take bloom number 3 out, because the back part of the bloom should be ready to come out, and see what the status of the 4th and 5th bloom is looking like, and then pick these, and then they're gonna go in here. I'm so excited. Also, shout out to my mom for sending me a mask in the mail yesterday, but I'm looking forward to getting my grandma's mask because she's sending it out in the mail today. I'm so excited, and I'll have it by the time this video goes up, so it's gonna be really fun to wear. Here is the condition of the blooms, and I'm going to see what the status of this one is looking like. Take a look at this bloom. Look at how pretty that looks like. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be so fun. Let me set this one on the side, and then let's go ahead and dig up these ones to see what they're looking like. Pull apart. We'll save this. So here's the status of this bloom. Super, super pretty. And the back of the bloom is still drying. So keep that on the side. Let's take a look at this one. Come out. Oh my gosh, look at how pretty that is. Okay, so I'm gonna put the tail ends back into silica, but first let's go ahead and pick the blooms and drop it in here. Go ahead and pick these blooms, and I got photos of them yesterday, so I'm okay with taking them. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, so gorgeous. Here they are, side by side. Jewelyn, your battery dies in the middle of this project. Okay, so here's the beautiful blooms. Super excited. So let's go ahead and put it in this. Hi, honey. Hi, Munchkin. Are you helping mom do arts and crafts? Okay, so let's put the mask back on. Technique and art and how to lay these in silica gel because of the dimension of the bloom. It's not flat like a daisy where you can just put it on its back. That's one. By the time I dry all the blooms, I should be advanced beginner level in silica gel and preserving blooms. And I plan on doing this every season whenever this thing gives me blooms. I regret doing it last year for the first time it bloomed on me. Back then, I thought like I was gonna press it, but because of the dimension of the bloom, I didn't know how I was gonna lay it flat and press it. So with silica gel, it can still hold its unique shape for the most part and not get pressed flat in a book. So it took me a whole year to think about it, and after lots of thinking, I was able to figure out this was the best way to preserve this type of bloom and still hold its shape. And my makeup fan brush is like, look at how pretty that is. Slowly trying to get it deep under there, covering the blooms, and just in a few hours they'll start processing, and then I can lay it on its back and then cover it up. Also trying to make room for the other blooms. Covered in silica, we'll just leave it like that. Same for this. And same for this. Okay guys, here's the top point of view. So as you see, my newest blooms are slightly emerged in there, and in a couple of hours when they soften up, I can put them on its back and fully cover them overnight. And then I have my 3 blooms just hanging out with most of it sticking out of the silica gel. I just need to dry that last back end of the bloom, so I just want to make sure that that part of the bloom is in there so it doesn't fall apart if I cover up the petals because they're already dried. So I'm gonna close it up and then we'll pick up the video in a few hours today. Hopefully I can take those 3 blooms out and then fully lay the new blooms on its back and cover it up for overnight. I'm so proud of myself. This is super cool. Hope you guys are enjoying the video and the process. Hey guys, good morning. It's like super early. It's not even 8 in the morning. I don't have my epiphyllum in the background because it has 1 open bloom, and I'll take it before the day ends, so I'll hop back on today's video later on. But I wanted to take the blooms out. I have my dry blooms on the bottom here, so if you see there, the first 2 is under there. But I need to... this is good enough. It needs to come out before it starts falling apart, so hopefully that won't be a major issue. And then let's see what's going on with this guy here. Yeah, even this. Oh, so irritating, that tail end. The rest of the bloom is dry. Look at how pretty that is. Okay. Oh, this one is nice. I might just cut it off before phase 2. Yeah, take a look at that. Look at how gorgeous. I think you're done. I'm done. So let's just go ahead and cover this up. This is from yesterday without damaging anyone. Let's see here. Lay them down nicely. I did pretty good with that one compared to the first 2. Okay, so here it is, all in here. Shut this. And shut this. All right, see you guys in a couple hours. Right, guys, so it's been about 2 days that my 5th and 6th bloom has been sitting in here, and these are all of the blooms in here that are done. So I'm gonna be very careful and I'm gonna pull these out. And tomorrow morning I'll pick up the current open bloom that opened up yesterday. I'll pick it tomorrow morning. I'll give it another night to live. So let's be very careful without damaging the bloom. Here we go. So here's what the bloom looks like. I'm gonna do the same thing for this guy. This is so exciting. Here we go. Ta-da! And then I'll pick up the video tomorrow morning and I'll take them out completely. And then I'll pick my bloom that's currently open right now. So, another fun day of silica gel and my blooms. Hey guys, so it is the next day and I did leave this bloom an extra day on the mother plant just to see the condition of it, but I can see it's probably going to start looking really sad towards the end of the day, so I want to take it off now. And I have the tail ends of the blooms in here that I want to go ahead and take out. And I think because I don't want to keep in the silica gel too long before it starts falling apart, I'll just, however the tail end looks like is however it looks like. So I want to go ahead and take it out and then pick this bloom. This bloom right here just opened up last night, so I'll keep this one on. And then it looks like this bloom here, right there, is going to open up probably tonight. There's a few more, so I'm really excited to preserve them. So here's my finished blooms. Really stoked about that. And then let's go ahead and slowly. So here's what the bloom looks like. It's gonna look pretty once I open it up and lay it. But for now, let's try to get it like that. Let's do this guy here. So as you can see, this tail end is still not preserved, but the bloom is, so that's fine. Let's lay it there. Alright. Super excited. Let's go ahead and take this bloom off. Beautiful bloom. Okay. I'm trying different techniques on how to lay this bloom down because it's so three-dimensional. Okay. Trying to go over to keep it open. Pretty happy with my technique. I think this is good enough for now. Okay, I feel pretty good. I think my technique and the process over the lifespan of the blooms are looking pretty good. So that's gonna wrap up today's portion of the video, and I'll pick up the video when I flip it over. I really love the process of being able to preserve the bloom in silica gel. So I look forward to doing this with whatever plants that give me blooms in the future, like my Hoyas. So we'll pick this one off of the mother plant. Maybe I'll give it 2 days, because usually it lasts for about a day and a half to 2. So we'll let this one live its life, and I'll pick up the video then. It is the next morning. Don't look at my face because I've been up since 6, busy working. I just finished my dance class for my dance school on Zoom. I wanted to show you the status of the blooms before I take it. So here is the bloom that's been open now for 2 days. I'm gonna take it because it's gonna start looking really sad probably by the end of the day. And then here is the bloom that opened up last night, which is in between here. I gotta be very careful with it. And then here on the top center, and I showed this on my live both times what the epiphyllum looked like. And this is the last bloom right here. So in today's portion of the video, I'm gonna be taking this bloom, which I will take now. Here it is. So pretty. I'm going to take my epiphyllum out. I also see that the silica is turning a little slightly pink. So when I'm done with these blooms, I will go ahead and microwave the silica gel to get the moisture out. So let's mask up and take a look at the bloom. I forget how I laid it down, but I want to be very careful. So let me scoop from under and see how this bloom is looking like. Here's the tail. There's a lot of silica stuck on the bloom. So what I'm gonna do is, look at how pretty that is. Oh my gosh, so stunning. As you see, the color is slightly pink, so I'm gonna have to microwave it to get the moisture out soon. So here's my technique that's been working for me with this style of bloom. So it's in there now, and then what I'm gonna do is slowly go around this way. Hope you guys have a good point of view. And then in, and then try to get it to lay flat. Try. And later on today, when this softens up, then I can totally flip it on its back. But this has been the technique I've been doing and has been working for me. So you want to try to keep the petals open as you pour silica on it. But before the day ends, before the sun goes down, I'll totally flip it on its back. But for now, I'm just gonna do this. Maybe like this. Something along the lines of this. That looks good already. I'm gonna let it do its thing, and then let's stick this tail end in, because that's the last part that takes the longest to preserve and dry out. The petals are already done, so I'm just gonna do my best to keep it open without damaging anyone. So that works for me. My fan brush has been a lifesaver. I am going to close this, and then I'll open this up in a couple of hours before the day ends to flip it on its back and cover it fully, and I will pick up the video then. So it is the next day, and I am really sad, nervous, and anxious because this process of sharing what the blooms look like over time and preserving it for the first time is coming to an end. This is the last 2 blooms, and this one just opened up last night. This one has been open for 2 days, so I'm going to take this one today. Depending how I feel, I might just pick this one today so that I can wrap up the preserving of the blooms, but I kind of want it to live its life, so maybe I'll do this one tomorrow. I have a lot of blooms anyway that I preserved over the course of this plant season for this epiphyllum bloom. So I'm looking forward to sharing the next process of what I will be doing for the blooms. All of this is the first time for me, and I'm just sharing with you my first time experience and hopefully inspire you to do the same with your blooms that come through your collection. So let's go ahead and get started. I have a bunch of blooms in here that I need to shift around or move out, and then we'll make room for this one. First thing we need to do is take the bloom. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. It's like, where are you? Like, I have to spread this open. But I'm gonna try to not ruin the bloom or the mother plant. And just twist, and wow, the tail end of this bloom is so long. Look at it compared to my hand. Take a look at it. Like, oh my gosh, you guys, seriously. Here's an up close. I just love the vibrant colors. So let me spin this around. This bloom is sandwiched right in the center. I'm gonna leave this, and let's go ahead and open up the container and see what's going on. You're stunning, that's all I can say, and I'm so glad I'm able to share it on the channel. Here goes nothing. Let me put my mask on because I don't want to breathe this in. Okay, this is the exciting part. Let me get my tools on the side. And the bottom container has all of my dry blooms, which I'm trying to be very careful with. And then let's go ahead and open this up. So here is what the blooms look like. I'm going to take this one out, and it'll join the rest in the other container. I'm going to try to be very, very careful taking it out. So here it is. Take a look at that. Kind of impossible to get all of the silica out, but that is that. And then let's uncover this one and see how it's looking like. The fan brush coming through. Let me try to scoop it out from under. So here's what it looks like. I'm gonna continue to keep the tail in the silica. I'll keep this on the side. Here we go. This is so exciting. So satisfying. And then nice and deep. Okay. Like that. Slowly make its way. Okay, so we'll leave it like this. And then in a couple hours, I'll go ahead and lay it on its back. I want to put the tail end of this bloom in to dry a little bit more. Stick that in. Just open. This is what it looks like. And I'm going to close this up, and we'll open this up in a couple of hours. In the meantime, let me go ahead and place my bloom here. This is the day. This is the day where I wrap up picking my last bloom from my beautiful epiphyllum. I just actually did my last part of my Meet My Plant episode for this particular plant. So I've been literally filming and editing all day. Epi's very like impatient now. She's been patient all day, but now she wants a walk. So we must go for a walk. But first, before it gets dark, here is the last bloom right in the center of this mother plant. I'm gonna pick it and then I'm gonna share with you the backstory of my current blooms, and hopefully I will do justice with my blooms that I have not touched yet, that I am trying to preserve in 2 different parts. So with that being said, my mother plant is naked. I still love you though. Oh, that was so sad to just pick it off of the mother plant. I'm gonna share my thoughts before I do anything with this bloom. The first thing that I've learned over the course of time, because I did pour my first resin molds 2 days ago, which will be in a whole separate video, my experience on pouring and what I wish I did and what I've learned. It is my first time, but I mean, I have all of the supplies and the things that I need to pour into a mold and try to get it as best as I can. I am like first time, so can't get mad. What I did learn is that I don't have a mold this thick, so therefore me preserving the stem doesn't do anything. So here it is to save myself, because this whole time of me preserving it in silica gel, I was keeping it in there longer because of the stem of the bloom. Second of all, I was taking out the bloom too soon. So I'll share with you what the silica gel looks like. Basically all 7 of them, because I used 3 on a separate video for my next step of what I'm doing with these blooms. And basically you will see in that video that I learned that it was probably not dry enough. So with that being said, and this video will go up first before that video, just so you guys know, I'm doing 2 videos simultaneously at the same time. So here is all of my 7 blooms that I did not use yet, because I used 3. 7 plus 8 plus 3 is 11 total. 3 I already used, 7 is in here, 8 is right here. I need to try to make room in my silica gel. See, and the thing is, silica gel is not cheap, guys. It's like $40 a bag, and that's pretty much this right here. I don't know if I'm gonna buy another bag, just because if I do preserve any blooms, which I will for the vlog channel, practicing with my Mother's Day bouquet that I got, I'm not gonna be like using this whole thing. But the epiphyllum blooms are so big that I pretty much wish I had more. I don't want to disturb it because they're still in the process of drying. But what I will do, just to kind of start this one, because I don't want it to go bad, I'm just gonna stick it in here without trying to disturb the 7 that are already in here, because basically they're all stacked with each other. So I'm not gonna move this around. What I will do is, I don't have my mask on because Epi's waiting for a walk and trying to do this before it gets dark. I'm just gonna like kind of cupcake it like this. Later on tonight, I'll lay it on its back when it gets a little soft, and I would have to redo the stacking where I do like 4 and 4, so they'll be stacked 2 on 2. So I'm gonna, later on tonight, probably around midnight when I'm done with my YouTube day, this bloom is gonna be soft so that I can stack 2, 2, 2, 2, all 8 under here. And when I take them out or touch them again, I'll be sure to hit record. And once they're fully done, then we'll wrap up this very special video of my first time drying my blooms in silica gel. So with that being said, that's all for now. I'm just gonna leave it like this for now, just so that I could save the bloom, at least cut it off from the mother plant, because I think tonight it was gonna die. But at least it's starting its process in silica gel. So we'll not breathe in the silica gel, and let's figure out what the bloom needs. So let's go ahead, and I think I'm gonna stand up because I like to be able to work over it. So let's see if we can get this more on an angle and closer. All right, so let's see the status of the blooms. Oh, it's a lot more harder now. And I wonder if I'm able to open up the bloom without making it fall to pieces. Let's see. That's a pretty nice one. This first one, it laid down. I mean, it's dry, but the way how it dried, I'm not happy with it. Even this here too. I'm learning. This is my first time doing any of this. Can I save this one? This will go under silica again. Let's try to save this guy. This is my first time doing any of this, so I'm trying to not get upset if things don't go the way how I want it to. So this is gonna have to go back under. Okay. This is an interesting one. Take a look at that. This one is fully dried. Okay. Can't get mad. It is what it is. There's one more hiding in here. Deep down in here. Okay. This one turned out pretty good. Not gonna get mad at this. And when I lay it in resin, I'm gonna do my best to open up the blooms, but take a look at that. Okay. And I can definitely tell the difference from putting it back in and how crispy and dry it is. So, let's see the status of this. Gonna have to work with the way. Super dry, so I'm gonna try my best to work with these. Again, these are all my first time for me, so I can't get mad at myself, you know. So here's another bloom here. They're all done. They're super crispy. If they stay in here any longer, they're gonna start falling apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is the last one. 8. Ooh. This one is nice. Take a look at that. Okay. So here's all 8 dried. I mean, honestly, guys, I can't get mad. I think out of all of them, this is the nicest one laid out. I'm gonna put this one back because the way how it was lying down in the silica, it's not completely dried. So let's put this back under. And now that I know, you really gotta make sure. It's hard for this kind of bloom to have it dry the way you want it to dry because it's so three-dimensional. It's not like flat like a daisy where you can just lie it on its back. So let's just do this. We'll cover it up and deal with these blooms. I'm gonna wrap up my long video and process of preserving my epiphyllum blooms for the first time in silica gel, and stay tuned for, I guess I'll put it up after this video of my first time pouring resin and my blooms in the resin and what happened. I learned a lot between that video and the process of me preserving the blooms in silica gel. These are all first time for me. So I mean, I think for what it is, I will just do my best with working with them. I am going to now switch gears and do something with 1 or 2 of them today. In my second time using resin, I got a bunch of molds. I got every single supply you can think of to try to preserve these. I have 7 here and I have 1 in here, 8. This one will come out in a day or 2 when it's completely dried. I will try my best to open up the bloom, and hopefully if there is any pieces that do fall off, I can just lay it down where I would want it to be placed, and then kind of do my best to showcase the bloom. So sound off in the comments down below if you ever worked with silica gel, and also if you ever try preserving epiphyllum blooms, because these are not like daisies or anything where you can just lay flat on its back and it'll just dry really nicely. These are very 3-dimensional blooms where they gotta be, you have to move them around as they work throughout a course of days drying in silica gel. I started on the side and then the next day I put it on the back. I thought it was completely dried and it wasn't, and I finally took it out days later. So I'm thinking 5 to 6 days is a good amount of time to have your epiphyllum blooms dry for this type of bloom. So yeah, sound off in the comments down below. I am going to be doing this for my Mother's Day bouquet for a bunch of like daisies and stuff like that. Now that this is empty, I'm going to use the silica gel for that, and I'm going to be sharing that on my vlog channel, and that'll be like my practice bloom. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you're new, welcome to the channel. Subscribe for daily uploads between the main channel Monday to Thursday and the vlog channel Friday through Sunday. You get a video each and every day. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and if you ever used silica gel before, let me know. For my particular bloom, it was best to try to preserve it into silica gel versus pressing it because of the dimension of the bloom. But next year when it does bloom on me in a year, hopefully it gives me 11 blooms or more, and I can go ahead and try my hand again on preserving them in silica. So stay tuned for my first time pouring resin, and I am going to now film my second time pouring resin, and I've learned a lot pouring resin for the first time. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until next time, aloha from Santa Monica, California. Bye.